Okay, so today we're going to be simplifying fractions, and we're also going to be looking at equivalent fractions, by which we mean fractions that are the same. So hit pause, copy the lesson objective down. Once you've done that, hit play, and we'll move into the starter. Okay, so here's your starter. You've got 11 questions to be getting on with. So make sure you write the question, not just the answer. And if you feel you need to use the bus stop to help you, you can write that as well. Okay, so hit pause, have a go. Once you're done, hit play, and we'll go through these questions. Okay, so let's go through them. Question number 1, 45 divided by 3. So if you wanted to use the bus stop, that's fine. You could have written 45 divided by 3. We know 3 goes into 4 one time, carry 1, and 3 into 15 is 5. So we got 15 on the first one. Question 2, 22 divided by 2 is 11. 55 divided by 5, also 11. 56 divided by 8 is 7. 60 divided by 12 is 5. 36 divided by 9 is 4. 54 divided by 54 divided by 9 is 6. I used the answer then. This is an unusual one. Once you divide by 7, then multiply by 7. So because we're dividing by 7, then multiplying by 7, 46 doesn't change. So our answer is 46. Same sort of thing here. First you times it by 100, times 142 by 6, and then you divide it by 6. So we stay at the same number. 8 sevens are 56, and 132 divided by 12 is 11. Okay, so what I want you to do is mark and correct your work, and then rag it for me. Once you've done that, then we're going to look at equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions. If we look at all these fractions here, we can see that half of the shape, half of this rectangle is shaded, half of each one is shaded. Okay, so first one is easy enough, we can call that a half, but we can also write this in a slightly different way if we create more sections. So here, if we create another section, then we now have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and 2 are shaded. So that's 2 out of 4. But that's exactly the same as a half. Okay? Because we can still see it's a half of the shape that's shaded. Let's go again. Half of the shape is shaded, but if I create some more sections, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. And 3 out of the 6 are shaded, so I can write it as 3 out of 6. Or I can write it as a half. Okay, so I should be putting on the side here, that's equal to a half. And here that's equal to a half as well. Let's divide this shape into sections and have a look then. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections. 4 of them are shaded. So 4 out of 8 are shaded. But you can see it's half of the shape is shaded, so that's 4 out of 8 is also equal to a half. And we can carry on dividing the shape into as many sections as we would like. Let's try again. We now have 10 sections, half of them are shaded, so half of 10 is 5, so we got 5 out of 10 shaded, still equal to a half. Let's look at this next shape. So I've got 12 sections altogether, 6 of which are shaded. So 6 out of 12 equals a half. Oops. I'll just rub that out. There, that's better. Change back to red pen. Okay, good. 6 out of 12. This time I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4, 20 parts. And out of 20, half of them are shaded. What's half of 20? Correct. 10 out of 20. So what we're saying is 10 out of 20 is equal to a half. Okay, you can see that because if we cancel the zeros there and there, it's exactly a half. And on the last shape, we've got 100 squares, and half of 100 are shaded. Half of 100 is 50. So that's what we mean by equivalent fractions. By equivalent fractions, what we're saying is fractions that are the same, even though we write them slightly differently. Okay? So here we've written 2 out of 4, that is still a half, or 50 out of 100, these terms are still a half. Okay. Equivalent fractions, same sort of thing here. These shapes are all thirds, but we can write them in slightly different ways. So it's a third there. Here if I divide it again, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 out of 6 is equal to a third. And so on. So this is just to show you what equivalent fractions are. 3 out of 9 in this case. We've got 4 out of 12 and so on. So all of these are equal to a third. We can see that from the shading. Okay, be careful on the last one. Everyone thinks it's 100 squares. It's 90. So 30 out of 90 is equal to a third. We can create equivalent fractions without using the shapes by multiplying or dividing. So here, if we multiply, whatever we do to the numerator though, the top number, we've got to do the equivalent to the denominator. Okay, so if I'm going to multiply the numerator by 4, I've got to multiply the denominator by 4. Okay, 3 4s are 12, and 4 4s are 16. So 12 out of 16 is the same thing as 3 out of 4. Here again, 2 out of 5. Whatever I do to the numerator, if I multiply it by 5, I've got to do the same thing to the denominator. I've got to multiply that by 5 as well. 2 5s are 10, and 5 5s are 25. Let's have a look at another one. Here we've got a third, and if I multiply the numerator by 3, I've got to multiply the denominator by 3. Whatever you do to the top, you've got to do to the bottom. 3 1s are 3, and 3 3s are 9. Now, we can also simplify fractions, make them simpler by dividing. Okay, by dividing. So, if we have a look here, 10 out of 15, if we divide the top and bottom by the same number, 5, because 5 goes into 10 and 5 goes into 15. 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 15 divided by 5 is 3, so it's 2 out of 3. Let's have a look at this one. So we've got 4 out of 8. I'm sure somebody can tell me what that's equivalent to. But before you do that, what number goes into 4 and into 8? But I mean, when I say number, I mean the biggest number. Okay, I know 2 goes, but bigger than 2 is 4. So I can divide both top and bottom, numerator and denominator, by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 4 out of 8 is equal to a half. I'm sure you recognized that earlier. Let's have a look at this one. 9 out of 12. What goes into 9 and into 12? Well, in this case, that would be 3. So I can divide the top and bottom by 3. Divided by 3. And the denominator divided by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4, so 3/4. Okay, so what I want you to do now is to write these examples in your book, and I've got a couple of questions that I want you to attempt. Okay, so hit pause, copy these examples down. Once you've done that, I've got some questions for you to have a go at. Okay, so here's your worksheet for today. If you look at the first one, it's 2 out of 5. You've got to times the 2 by 4, which will give us 8. And the 5 times 4, they've given us the bottom. Okay, if you can print the sheet out, great, you can work on the sheet, I'm happy with that. If not, you can do it in your books then. So you've got some multiplication there, you've got some copy the equivalent fractions here and complete the boxes. And then we've got some division on the other side. Okay. Right, good. So good luck.